God, I hope it's someone wild camping. Yeah, it was coming from up there. It is pretty eerie when you're on your own.
It's the chains moving when I climb down the ladder. It's a big, heavy, thick chain. Wind can't move that.
Get away, what do you want? What do you want? Say something, I see you!
On May 21st, 2025, a solo explorer named Eleanor Grace uploaded a video to her channel, Eleanor Grace Adventures. Known for her quiet and cinematic hikes across the UK, Eleanor's content usually focuses on wild swims, misty hilltops, and peaceful overnights in nature. But this video, titled Solo Wild Swim in Hidden Quarry, Left Me on Edge, was different. It started as a simple plan, an evening hike through Dartmoor National Park to scout a remote location she found on her All Trails app. The goal? A dip in an abandoned quarry. But the deeper she walked, the more unsettled she became. By the end, she'd be scrambling through thick bog, soaked and disoriented, haunted by a sound she couldn't explain.
Oh, you have... You have got to be kidding me. What a hidden gem. Oh, bless him. Right, I'm just going to stand still and let him run. It's quite eerie, actually. Yeah, I don't... Hello? 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 Yeah, I don't think that there is anyone else here.
She decides to go in. There's no one around, no signs of other hikers or campers, just the occasional distant plane overhead and the sound of sheep somewhere behind the trees. She wades into the quarry slowly. The water is cold, but not unbearable. Lizard-like creatures dart beneath the surface. Tadpoles swarm the edges. There's a sense of peace, for a moment. Then a sound, a rhythmic, mechanical thump echoing from the ridge above. At first she laughs it off, saying, maybe someone's wild camping and pumping something up. But the sound doesn't stop. It comes in bursts, irregular, hollow, like a machine, or worse, like heavy panting. Not quite human, not quite mechanical, just loud enough to make her pause.
There's a really, really weird noise coming from up there. I don't know if someone's wild camping and pumping up something, because that's what I can hear. It sounds like that. Either that or it's extremely loud, heavy panting. God, I hope it's someone wild camping. Anyway, Dartmoor is like a military training base. They do a lot of training around here, basically. So I had to check the times for when they were doing that. There's various areas on Dartmoor where you can wild camp, and this falls under one of the legal areas you can do it. Yeah, it was coming from up there. It is pretty eerie when you're on your own. Oh my God, oh God.
Eleanor continues filming, but you can hear the change in her voice. She jokes about someone watching her from the trees, but there's hesitation in the laugh. The sound is still there, repeating, closer now, but she still can't place it. She realizes she hasn't seen another soul in hours. No hikers, no campers, not even a dog walker. Just her and that sound. She decides to leave. But retracing her steps proves harder than expected. The ground that was soft on the way in now feels like a trap. Thick bog sucks at her legs. The stream she crossed earlier is nearly invisible in the fading light. Tall reeds block her view in every direction. She admits on camera she's not sure which way to go. At one point, she's thigh deep in water. Her boots are soaked, her footing is unsure, and the only company is the sound of shifting wind and distant movement in the grass. She makes it back to her car, but her breathing is rushed. She doesn't say it outright, but something spooked her. Later that night, Eleanor records a follow-up clip from her dad's driveway. She's safe, but something's still bothering her.
Dartmoor in itself, it's very vast, very big. There's a lot of beautiful places. There's a lot of ancient monuments. There's a lot of all that stuff going on. For the vast majority, it looks like this, okay? So there's a lot of tors and woodlands and forests and stuff like that thrown in, which is absolutely gorgeous too. In some places on Dartmoor, yes, it does feel a little bit eerie. And I don't know if it's because I was completely alone. Like, a part of me wishes I had someone with me so that I could ask them how they felt about it. But then again, I might not have got the same experience because, you know, when you're on your own, you're not distracted. You're just you there in the environment in the present moment. I do like to think there's an explanation for a lot of these things, but I'll be honest, that place was eerie as hell. And I don't know if it's because of the noises I heard or just the overall vibe itself, but even more so than the place where I actually swam, this place is where I felt it the most. Multiple eyes on me in that quarry last night. But I had no idea where they were. I kept looking behind me. That bit there with the sheep and the bit of ruin was so strong. Like, it was so strong. Towards the end, when I was on my way back, that's why I was saying, like, where's the car, where am I looking? And I couldn't wait to leave because it was even stronger when I went to leave. It was like, I don't want to be here. Something was off. That was a stronger feeling more than any haunted hotel that I've been in, more than any haunted place that I've explored. All my hairs on my arms were stood up. Like, it had a feeling of just dread.
What Eleanor faced was unpredictable, a sudden rupture in the peace of her night without reason or explanation. But not every encounter begins with chaos. Sometimes the fear builds slowly, quietly, like a whisper in the trees. Our next story follows Kev, an experienced outdoorsman who thought he was simply out to challenge himself. A solo tarp camp in the woods, just him, the cold spring air, and the endless silence. But as the night wore on, that silence began to change.
This is gonna be awesome. Found this beautiful spot. I think it's gonna do really good.
By now, he's found his trees, pitched the tarp, and created a neat, low-profile shelter. It's a smart setup, fully enclosed, dry, and functional. But as he tours the tarp and sets up for the night, his words betray a subtle unease. He talks about the space, the features, but also mentions he's glad to be alone, while quickly adding he'll definitely bring someone next time. He doesn't dwell on it, but it feels like he's trying to convince himself that everything is fine. Kev settles in with a simple stir-fry and talks about the bears. It's April in Manitoba, and with an early spring, bears are already active. The onions and garlic he cooked with are a tempting scent trail for any wandering predator. So, Kev eats away from the camp and plans to hang the food afterward. He jokes about it, but again, there's tension beneath his words. When he thanks another YouTuber for a cooking hack, his tone lightens, but it doesn't stay that way. By now, the forest has darkened, and those ATV sounds he mentioned earlier, they're gone. Now there's just silence, thick and oppressive. At this point, the tarp is sealed. Kev shows his sleeping setup, a mat, 2 sleeping bags, and his gear packed inside the tarp.
So it's so quiet. My ears are like kind of just ringing. There's a constant sound or ring there. Not a loud one, just not used to being like this quiet, and I love it. This is what I look for. My senses are up a little bit, like, you know, I'm like hearing when I hear things, like I'll be doing something and I'll be hearing a sound and I don't realize it's the sound that I'm doing, and I'm like, you know, what's that? And I realize, oh, that's...
But even as he says it, he admits, every sound makes him twitch, even the ones he's making himself. His nerves are high, his senses heightened. He tries to laugh it off, but moments later, he talks about hearing strange things when he arrived, trees swaying, noises he couldn't identify. And then he says something that sticks.
When I first got here, it took me a bit to get used to some of the sounds out here, like the trees were swaying and making weird noises and stuff like that, just ones I wasn't sure of. And then, you know, I thought I heard something off in the distance, but I don't think it was anything. I think it was just trees or something. I'm not sure.
He keeps his knife unsheathed beside him, just in case. He doesn't have bear spray, and there's no one for miles. Then the sound returns. a low, warped moan or growl, barely caught by the camera mic. This time, he's clearly rattled. It's not a branch snapping, it's not the trees creaking, this is something else. Something moving. It lasts only a moment. Then silence again.
I don't know if you heard that, but that was a weird sound, man. I do not know what that was.
By 6:15 a.m., Kev is up. The forest is alive again. Birds chirping, light filtering through the trees.
Good morning. It's about 6:15 and the forest is becoming alive, so I guess that's my cue.
He brews coffee in a metal container he found at camp and reflects on the night.
And I heard that crazy sound, which again, I hope the audio picked that up. And if you know what it is, please let me know. So that freaked me out at first. And then for about half an hour, like I wasn't freaking out, oh my God. But I was definitely on guard where I wasn't going to sleep.
And that phrase, on guard, is telling. Because out there, under a tarp with nothing but a thin sheet of nylon between him and whatever's in those woods, there's not much else you can be. Kev made it through the night, shaken but safe. His fears stayed on the edges, never crossing the line between paranoia and reality. But not everyone is that lucky. Because sometimes whatever's out there doesn't just watch from the shadows. Sometimes it comes closer. Deep in the remote wilderness of Australia, surrounded by jagged cliffs and total silence, a YouTuber named Matt descended into a cave so unsettling, even his own friend warned him not to. What started as a harmless overnight dare quickly spiraled into one of the creepiest solo camping trips ever caught on camera. Matt isn't new to this. His channel is filled with solo survival trips. No water, no backup, no contact with the outside world. But this time was different. After his friend told him about a strange experience inside this cave, Matt decided to explore it alone at night with nothing but his camera and instincts. He hiked for hours under the brutal Australian sun until he found the cave's entrance. A man-made opening reinforced with a thick steel chain and a ladder bolted into the rock. Without hesitation, he climbed down into complete darkness, not knowing what was waiting inside. At first, things seemed normal. He explored the narrow tunnels, crawled through gaps in the rocks, and even sat down to eat a quiet dinner of baked beans by the entrance.
It is 11:14 at night. We're nearly at midnight. One crazy thing is, it's a full moon tonight as well, so all of the weird things are in our favor. I did have a spoon for my baked beans, but the spoon is gone, so we're just gonna drink it out of the can.
And then, out of nowhere, a deep metallic clang echoed through the cave. It wasn't wind, it wasn't movement.
Dave? Oh my f***ing God. Walk up. Holy shit. Oh my fucking God. You must have heard that just then.
That chain, the one he used to climb down, was moving, slowly, on its own, and was far too heavy to be shifted by a breeze.
That is the sound. Did you hear that? Look at my arms. I got full goosebumps. It's the chains moving when I climb down the ladder. It's a big, heavy, thick chain. Wind can't move that.
Then it gets worse. Just past 2 a.m., more sounds start echoing through the cave. Not footsteps, not animal movement. Something whispering, like a voice, but broken and hiss-like, barely human.
Holy shit. That's not normal, dude. Well, I'm freaking out.
Matt throws his gear back into his bag. You can see him debating whether to leave immediately or wait it out. But hiking through pitch-black bushland in the middle of the night is almost more dangerous than staying put. So he makes a call. He'll camp right by the cave entrance, not deep inside, just near the edge. but he keeps the camera rolling. As time crawls by, he starts to hear more movement, another loud metallic shift, then silence. Something's in there with him, but it won't show itself.
I've heard that sound again. So the only way I can describe this noise, it's between a cat hissing and it sounds like human voice. Like, I'm not even joking. It sounds human-like.
He sits in complete darkness, eyes scanning the cave, unsure of what's real. He's not even sure what he's hearing anymore. But the whispers, they don't stop. And whatever's moving inside the cave refuses to come closer or leave.
Somewhere. Very strange.
Finally, around 5 a.m., a faint glow begins to fill the cave. The sun has started to rise, and that's all Matt needs. He wastes no time grabbing his gear, climbing back up the chain, and getting out of there. Fast. He never found out what made those sounds. He never saw anything. But whatever was in that cave made it clear he wasn't welcome, and he's never gone back. Sometimes the scariest encounters don't need ghosts or monsters, just a cold chain that moves on its own, whispers that have no source, and the crushing feeling that someone is watching you, even when you're completely alone. While that cave encounter was terrifying in its own right, echoing with the kind of dread that only pitch black silence can bring, it was still just one person versus the unknown. But in our next story, the threat isn't hidden deep underground. Instead, it's much closer than you'd ever want to believe. This time, the danger doesn't come from the shadows. It's walking right outside your tent, and it knows exactly where you are. In the world of stealth camping, where content creators aim to stay completely off the grid, something went horribly wrong on this one fateful night. The uploader, going by the northwest wind, had slipped into a nondescript spot with his gear, hoping to spend a peaceful, covert night under the stars. What started as a routine setup quickly spiraled into a chilling ordeal. At around 21 minutes into the video, the camper settles in. The fire burns low, the night air is silent, too silent. He's relaxed, off-grid, invisible, but deep in the woods something is not right. Suddenly, the stillness breaks. Rustling footsteps circle the camp. The video captures a quiet scratch outside the tent, like someone or something is testing the perimeter. He pauses, headlamp off, breath held. Then a shadow flits past the trees.
There's somebody, hang on. I don't know if they can see it or not through the tent. I don't think so. I'm leaning right up against the light, but somebody's walking around out there very close to the tent. Hello? I'm getting the out of here. I don't know what the this is, but we're getting out of here. Hang on. Hello? Okay, they're walking away now. What do you want? What do you want? I have a knife. Where's my knife? They're with me. With me here. What do you want? Say something, I see you.
Moments later, the sense of being prey deepens. His flashlight darts across the darkness, illuminating two figures crouched among the brush, barely visible. The camera shakes with every quick turn. He pleads into the silence.
They collapsed my tent on me. I don't know which way they went. I think they went this way. I see you. Get away! They're just standing there. They're just standing there. What do you want? Leave me alone! They went over that way. I can't see them now. I know you're there. I see you. They collapsed my tent on me and pulled the fly off while I was still in there. It smells like someone's smoking a cigarette too. I smell your cigarette. I smell your cigarette. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I have a knife. I smell your cigarette. All right, I'm officially like tweaking now. I'm like, all right, we're just gonna get out of here. We're just gonna get out of here. I'll come back for this crap later. Do I have my phone? I'm gonna call 911 if you come near me. Should I just call the police now or do I just go? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm scared to go in any direction. I don't know where to go. I'm scared to go in any direction. I smell your cigarette. Is the camera on? The camera's on. I'm recording all of this. All right, they're moving again. I don't know. I'm getting out of here. We're going. I'll come back for this some other time. All right, get the hell out of here. I'm leaving. Don't follow me.
Emerging from the trees, he bursts into open space. His breathing ragged, adrenaline coursing. He dashes to his van, slams the door, and peels away, shaking the whole way home. The rest of the night is silent. Viewers speculate. Was it another camper drawn by his stealth setup? A malicious hiker watching and waiting? Or something else entirely? The way they hid, circled, and struck without warning suggests intent. No animal behaves like that. No wildlife collapses tents. He didn't return. The video ends with a warning. Stealth camping isn't as harmless as it seems. The darkness may hide more than just trees. What do you think slipped into his camp that night? A prankster, a predator, or something more sinister? Drop your theory down below. If you want more raw, real camping encounters turned nightmare, hit subscribe and stay sharp out there.